So guys, today we'll be discussing about for loop, which is a part of iterative statements, which in turn is a part of control flow statements, right? Now, iterative statements are also called as loops. Before going into iterative statements, I would like to discuss about iterables. What are iterables? Iterables or iterable objects are sequence objects basically, right? Sequence objects, we can also refer to them as iterables. What are sequence types? String, list, tuple, set, and dictionary, right? These are, and range. These are your iterables. Why do we call them iterables now? Suppose you are having a list, LST 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, when I'm saying it is iterable, this means I can iterate over this list by using some variable, which means that a variable, suppose x, is iterating over this list LST, then x will take the values of LST one by one, right? First, x will take the value 1, then x will take the value 2, then x takes the value 3, then x takes the value 4. So it is iterating over the list. We say it like this, right? Similarly, if you're having a string str1 equal to hello world, so the characters of the string HELLO space WORLD, it will iterate over those characters. It will take one character at once each time. Like X first takes H, then E, then L, then O. So we are basically iterating over this object. So this object is called iterable object or iterables, right? Now let me ask you, you have to print each character of the string str1 separately, right? That is, first H should come in the output, then E should come in the output, then L should come in the output, and so on. So you will put it inside the print function basically. Similarly, you will do it for E and then for L. And then you will repeat this process again for L, right? Then again for a space also, because that's also character of the string. Then W, then print O, then print L, and then you will again print D. This is how you're supposed to do. If I ask you to print each character like this, in this way, then you will do something like this only, right? You will write these many print statements. How many? 8 or 9 print statements you will write. Okay. Now, if you see here, we are doing a repetitive task here. We are taking each character of the string and then printing it, right? Okay. Suppose the example could be, if I take a list 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I want to add 2 to each element of the list and then print it. Now you may think of doing LST plus 2, but let me tell you that doesn't work. What do you do in that situation? You will do a repetitive task. You will write LST 0 plus 2 and you will write it inside the print function. And then you may be a bit clever to copy it. Now you will change it 3, 2, 1. And now you will say that it's done, but it's not done. You are repeating the code. You are not following the principle of dry. Dry is do not repeat yourself. That is the principle of programming. You are repeating yourself. You are again and again writing LST0 plus 2, LST1 plus 2, LST2 plus 2, LST3 plus 2. Right? So there's a lot of repetition. Whenever there is a lot of repetition, we use iterative statements to simplify the code. This whole process, this one and the previous one, can be just done in 2 lines of code, 2 or 3 lines. You won't have to write these many number of statements. Suppose this list had 100 elements, then you would have written 100 lines of code? No. Then you will use Loops. What are loops? Loops or iterative statements are used to execute a block of code repeatedly. You want to repeat some block of code means some lines of codes again and again, then you use iterative statements or loops. Now these loops are of two types, for and while. Now how does this for loop work? This video is based on for loop. So for loop, when do you use a for loop? When you have a block of code which you want to repeat a fixed number of times. When you have some statements that you want to run again and again, like lst0 plus 2, lst1 plus 2, so everything remains the same, only the index is changing there. Something like this, or you want to print each character of the string. Repetitive, print str1 0, str1 2, only the index is changing, right? And you are repeating the code a fixed number of times. It is not unlimited. There's a fixed length of the string or the list, and it goes on till that length, right? So when you want to repeat something fixed number of times, then you use a for loop. And how does the for loop do it? It does it by iterating over an iterable. How do we iterate over an iterable? That I have told you, but we will do it by using a for loop. Here it will be applied. Now see, first I take the example of the string one. str1 equal to hello world. Now I have to print each character of the string. Basically, I would have to write print str1 and then whatever the index is there. This would be the simple procedure that I would follow. So what I will write for x in str1. When you write for x in str1, then x will iterate over str1. Okay. Now you will just write print str1 and x. This was just for the demonstration. Now if you see, okay, there's some error. What's the error? No problem. See, now I'm getting hello world. What I have done, I'm iterating over the string. How will I iterate? Each character of the string will be taken at once by x. Now when x takes h, then you are having this block of code. This block of code defined by the indent, right? Block of code is defined by an indent always in Python. So when x takes h in the first iteration, we say first iteration, then the code written there is print x. So it is printing x, nothing different. Print x, so h is printed. Now what happens? Now x takes the value e. Okay, we are iterating over the iterable str1. One at a time, one character at a time. When it takes E, then again the block of code is print X, so it prints E. Then it takes X equal to L. The string is hello world. H done, E done. Now L. So it prints L because here it is written print X. Then again it's L, so L, O, and similarly the whole output is coming. Right? So X takes the characters of str1 one at a time, right? One at a time. First X takes H, then performs some set of operations, which is the block of code, and so on for all the characters. We can also do the list one, okay? What we had to do, we were having a list, LST, that was having values 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I had to add 2 and print the thing. You will write for, let us take I, any variable, right? Any variable, X, Y, Z, whatever you want to name it. For I in LST, and now you try to print I plus 2. Getting it 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't write 4. Now see, compare it. Here I was writing 4 lines of code. This was done in 3 lines. Here I wrote almost 9 lines of code, and if you see here, you just wrote 3 lines of code. That's how simple it is when you use loops. So for loop iterates over an iterable. This thing you need to understand, right? And inside this block of code, now this block of code will not have only one single line. You can write any number of lines inside this block of code. You can write here print hello world, print this course is amazing. That will be printed for each iteration. Iteration means when x takes value, I takes value 1, that is first iteration. I takes value 2, second iteration, third iteration, right? When I takes the value 1, then what happens? These set of operations are performed. I takes the value 2, these set of operations are performed. I takes the value 3, these set of operations are performed. Any number of lines, but they should have this indent which marks the block. And also one more thing, one more confusion most of the people have. Please listen to it carefully. No one tells this. I'm telling you. Most of the people think that whenever you are using a for loop, the variable like I have taken here, you need to use it inside this block. This is a big confusion. People think that you really need to use it somewhere inside the block of code. No, guys. Here you have written for I in list. You remove this. This has got nothing to do with what you write inside the block. You may write anything. You may write print 34 plus 45. No problem. You do that. Now what happens? It prints these, it executes these lines of code for each iteration. When I equal to 1, print hello world, this course is amazing, 79. And so on. How many times? 4 times because there are 4 values. Please remember. Okay. Now one more thing was written here that for loops are used when you have a block of code which you want to repeat a fixed number of times. Fixed number of times. Now see, in this code, this is running fixed number of times. How many times is this running? Please write it now in the comment box. It's running 4 times. How did I tell this? This list is having 4 items. So I takes first 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Whatever the number of elements the list, the iterable is having, that many number of times the loop will run. Thus, it is running in a fixed number of times. Okay, what you have to do now, guys, apply all the concepts, if, else, everything inside this for loop if you want to understand it, right? I have told you the key that it repeats the block. It repeats the block, right? Now, if you want to come out of this block of code, what do? You just press a backspace. Now, whatever you will write here, print this is out of the for block. This, when you give a backspace, when you come out of the for block, everything will run, the flow of control will be as default. If you see in the end, I get this is out of the for block, right? Now you need to perform many number of examples, then only you can understand this, guys. I will give one more example here. Suppose I have to print the multiplication table of 2. Okay, I have to print it. What will come in the output? Let us see. It should give me an output like 2 into 1 equal to 2, 2 into 2 equal to 4, and so on till 10. 2 into 10 equal to 20. Okay, now how do I do this? Okay, first of all, I see what is repeating, what operation is repeating, what things are repeating. One thing which is repeating is this 2. Okay, another thing. First, it multiplies by 1, again it multiplies by 2, then it multiplies by 3, and so on till 10. So actually, multiplication is happening in each of the cases. The common operation is multiplication. Just the thing is, it is multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, right? Now see how I make the code. I will write here for I anything for Z in range 11. Just see what I'm doing and try to reduce it yourself. Now I write print 2 will come. Yes, 2 will come. 2 multiplication symbol in strings Z equals 2 into Z. See, you are getting the output. Now I cannot tell you much about this. You need to deduct it, how this output is coming, right? And if there's any confusion, please let me know in the comment section. Okay, we'll discuss some more things in loops, nested for loops, and many other things in the next video. Till then, subscribe the channel. Thank you.